good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Rolo's Run the City podcast with JT. I'm your co-host JT, and on the other end is my brother from another mother, Rolo C. Yes, and he literally runs the city. How you doing today?
Doing good, sir. Doing good. What's going on with you, brother?
Hey, just trying to live life day by day, you know, and we're gonna see what what I'm saying, the, whatever's in store for us. We take it in one day, 1 minute, 1 second at a time.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So without further ado, we're going to step into episode 12. And this episode here going to be about respect. And better said by Aretha Franklin, the best, Respect, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So without further, I'm going to go ahead and start things off with you. And we're going to ask you, uh, what do you think of as respect? And why do you feel like it's vital in everyday life?
Well, excuse me. Let me clear my throat.
I hear you, DJ
um,
Cool.
hell yeah. Yeah, man. So, respect is is definitely something that is definitely vital in society of today and yesteryear and all that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, uh, respect is just one of those things that ties into everything that we've been talking about thus far on our shows. If you notice, uh, if people are not respected, you know, then no one wants to do business with those folks. Period. Regardless whether if it has to deal with personal relation, uh, financial gain, etc. So I think it's absolutely vital to one's success in life, in reference to monetary gain, as well as being confident in oneself. So if you don't have any respect for yourself, you're definitely not going to respect other people. Respect starts at home first. Respect starts with the man or the woman in the mirror. And if you're not respecting yourself, then you're definitely not going to have respect for any of those that are around you. And that goes for people who are associated with folks that don't respect themselves. Because if they don't respect themselves, they're sure as hell not going to respect you. So you always want to make sure that you're being as transparent as you can as possible. That's one way to show respect, as opposed to trying to lie or throw some smoke screen or whatnot, or omitting the truth, which is the same as lying. You just want to be a man or a woman of valor, do what you're supposed to do, and if anything, to me, of course, you already know what I mean, how I feel about in reference to status and money and all that. I think none of that matters. Um, my man Al Pacino said it best in Scarface. He said, "There's two things that I got that I won't break, and that's my balls and my word." And I totally respect that because at the end of the day, money, monetary, value is only the value that you as the person places upon on how important it is to you in your life. But something that's very important to everyone's life, of course, is their time and their personal character. So I do believe that respect is so vital. It goes way beyond the dollar signs. What do you think, sir?
Okay, yo, good information, man. I like that. All right, so for people who heard the last show, which was about loyalty, and today's show, which is about respect, I know they're very similar, but I do want to break the difference and what each of those are. Okay, so when you're loyal to someone, you definitely totally respect them, but you put your full trust into that respect of who you know what I'm saying, pretty much the individual. You respect them, whatever you put into that individual, you put in your full all when you're loyal to that person. Now when it comes to respect, you may not necessarily like what that person's doing, but you respect what that person is doing. So, which means that you don't have to have loyalty to respect what someone's doing. And not going to use an example, like you could say, "Hey, like, well, like the like for example, like new school music." You be like, "Hey, well, I'm an old school person. I like old school music. So new school people, they do things a lot different than you did 20, 30 years ago." But what you can say is, even though you may not like that type of music because it's not what you're used to, but I would say we gotta give respect to those people, because like those people are the ones who decide to chase their dreams and figure out whatever they felt like that they could make it and what they can do. They kept going for it. They never gave up, and they, at some point someone gave it a chance, and they finally exceeded their expectations in life, or they met their goals in life. So that's why I just feel like the difference is because a lot of people could respect what someone is doing, but that don't mean you have to totally love and be into what they're doing. But you gotta respect people because they actually took the time and took the effort to make whatever they want to happen, while people sit there, judge, comment, spectate, and everything else under the sun. You got anything to add to that
No,
question?
we're good on that, man. You hit the nail right on the head too. So I feel like we knocking it out, babe. We can agree.
Okay. Now, from here, we're going to go to the next question. And I don't know if we're going to start with the good or bad. So I want to say, like, I'll go to the good. I'll go to the good. Like, who or what do you respect
Nah,
and
man,
why?
I wanna end this off. I wanna end this off in a good note.
Okay,
Let's
so
talk about let's talk about what we don't respect first.
okay, there you go. Let's have
You know what
it.
I'm saying? Because I want to end this show off on a high note. And one thing that I know, uh, what I'm about to say, ain't nobody want to go and hear it. Nah, but
Yeah.
real talk. Uh, one things that one it's just one of the things that I absolutely just don't respect at all. I don't respect procrastination or laziness, and of course they both tie into one another. I don't respect activity that's lazy. I don't respect people who procrastinate. And the reason why I say that is because the way I look at things is if you're really trying to get something done in your life and you're trying to have an edge on everybody else, the more you procrastinate, the more your competition is actually getting ahead of you because they're winning by default. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna get ahead of you because at this point, you know, you're your own worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? So I've always been a firm believer, like obviously, we watch sports, but we're very, heavy into sports with sports buffs and stuff like that. So, we always hear the terms of man, like teams that are actually absolutely really good don't feel that the competition beat them. They always say, man, we put ourselves in a position where we ended up beating ourselves. And it's not so much that they're throwing shade to the other team, but they just know the capability of what they're about. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what happens every time people are, they tend to be lazy with their activity or they're putting something off. You know, they're letting their competition win by default. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, it's like the competition is not beating you because they're better than you. They're beating you because you don't think you're worthy enough to compete. So that's really like just those are my two pet peeves. It's just laziness and procrastination. And we've talked about this before. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody in this earth is a damn robot. So we're not functioning as if we are robots. However, it's always good to have that commitment, that consistency, and that will to execute. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to our last shows. If you ain't heard them yet, listen to them. They're very good. commitment. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. And and it takes a lot of discipline to do what we need to do. Dropping another show bomb right there. But it is what it is, man. You have to make sure that you do what you need to do to get things done in order to do what you want to do. And that you will never do what you want to do because you're not doing what you have to do. And procrastination, laziness is the catalyst that's blocking, that's barricading what you really want in life. That's how I feel about that, JT. What about you?
All right, man. Good answers. Good answer for sure. I'm gonna name a couple myself. I know there's several out there, but I'm just gonna just hit a couple on the slide right here. One thing that I figure I don't respect are contradictors. Okay, because you got to see the fairness in being a contradictor. So, like, say for example, if someone does something and if it's something that you don't like, you be the first to comment on it. You tell them about themselves and just make them feel like you know they're not worth anything. But then I feel like, well, how could you do the same thing that person does, but it's not an issue because it's you and you do it. That's just one of them right there. And my second one, I don't really respect is bandwagoners and bandwagon people. Uh, for example, and I'm sure you know quite well. For example, like Patriot fans, New England Patriot fans to be exact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dude, I've told a whole bunch off like today because this whole Cam Newton crap. So trust me, like, oh my God. Yeah, I gotta let you read some of my messages. But go ahead, keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, you go. Trust me, I will give you a chance to respond back to that for sure. um, so like I remember, like before, like I know I met you in '01, and I promise you, I know like not even half of the fingers on my hand that how many Patriot fans I probably knew, you know. And then that was around the time when they had won their first Super Bowl and everything like that. So now, after all them years now, so that was pretty much about 20 years now. And then I know there's some people who never even been to nowhere near that stadium before or anything like that. Some people don't even know about half of the players that's on the team or anything. And I just feel like, man, it's just when they see stuff like that, you feel like these are probably like they're the sheep. These are people who just go along with the flow of everything else, which means like, hey, you're a bandwagon. Somebody wore a mask, and then they'd be like, okay, well, cool. Then now everybody's feel like they got to wear masks. Like, I'm not saying that's not. It's probably the right thing to do, whatever. But my thing is, when somebody do something, have a why to what I mean, what you're doing, and not just doing it because you're seeing some like so many other people doing it, and you feel like you have to be a part of that trend. All right, and so now with that, like you said, with that being said, when Brady left, went to Tampa, of course, Gronk retired. He now is in Tampa, so now people are like, oh well, I'm done with football. I'm done with football because, oh yeah, like the Patriots going to be like shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're thinking. So now, like I say, now Cam, for one, I don't know how rigged this system is. I mean, very rigged, I'm sure, but okay, Cam, I know is not haven't been the best quarterback because of his health, but Cam is no slouch neither, especially if he's even like 75% or better. So how could these teams who don't even have a good quarterback, don't really have any good assets to them, let a quarterback of his caliber go to a team that was already a pretty much dynasty team over the last couple of decades? Like it just don't, what I mean? That's like it's just odd. Like I just like saying, hey, well, what if Jordan was in his prime, not prime, but even yeah, even if he was like, because Cam hadn't been in the league that long, so that's just saying like, hey, Jordan was kind of in his prime. I know the first years with the Bulls wasn't that great, and what if he was a free agent? You would just let him sit there and walk a person of his caliber. I'm not saying Cam is not on a Jordan status, but if you're not a Pat Mahomes or or any like major or top 3 or 4 quarterback in the league, I'm sure you could use Cam to start. You know, that's just my that's just my opinion. But I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna let you go ahead and chime in on the rest of that topic.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely funny what you're bringing up. I obviously, me being a Patriots fan since freaking '85. So like, I mean, I've seen a whole bunch of losing more than I've seen winning. To be quite honest with you, they think the 20-year run was good. It's like, yeah, well, let's try a little bit before that. You know what I'm saying? About a good 10, 12 years before that. You know what I'm saying? And let's talk about how that run was. It sucked. Okay. Like I met Ronnie. I always tell you the story how I met Ronnie Lepet. That was our Ty Law before Ty Law got there. You know what I'm saying? And Andre Tippett and guys like that. You know what I'm saying? They suck. So anyway, basically, it kills me, right? And it's funny that I don't like people who ride bandwagons either, and I don't like it. It's that can you can honestly say that's another pet peeve of mine. I'm a firm believer that if one thing that I can admire about the band and the Titanic, that no matter what, they knew they were going down and they went down playing the music. Okay. And I am a firm believer in that. Okay. So, I personally think that the move stink. I told you about it last night that I was like, I'm not happy with the move. This is about as bad as a move as Kyrie going to the Celtics. And I just don't like it at all. And obviously, that experiment totally sucked and it didn't work out and it left us messed up. And I don't see the New England experiment with Cam happening any different. But it's funny how you mentioned bandwagons because I went ahead and I hit up several of these little fan pages of the Patriots or whatnot and left comments, not trolling, just speaking the truth, stating that I said a lot of you guys are killing me. Everybody is all crapping on Brady. He brought 6 Super Bowls. I'm never gonna crap on a guy who was loyal to us and the organization was not loyal to him. So I'm not gonna do that. That goes with anything. And we talked about that in reference to the workplace. I don't believe in the what have you done for me lately. I believe in, hey man, you brought great continuity this whole time. I understand sometimes things may lack, but I know what you're about. So obviously, that's one of those things. So I went ahead and stated, hey, I'm not gonna crap on a guy who brought us 6 Super Bowls. And then you guys were all high on Jarrett Stidham, which wasn't personally high on him either, and I didn't think he was going to be our starting quarterback anyway. And they were going to try to make a move for Andy Dalton or somebody, but he just wasn't going to be our opening day starter because Bill doesn't have any faith in him like that. Period. He knows Brady is putting together a Super Bowl caliber team in Tampa, and it's all about a race of who's going to win their first Super Bowl without each other. That's basically what this is. And you know, with Tom over here having illegal practices with his teammates when they're not supposed to be, like he's trying to get that edge, and it is what it is because he's a competitor. And you know, New England has taken a lot of hits and taken a lot of losses this year. They've lost a lot of key players, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And then you lose a guy, yeah, he wasn't the same quarterback that he was 5 years ago, but at the same token, he's also a guy that's not going to put the ball in danger. So, like I said, much love to him and respect to him. So I'm like, for me, I'm like, I'm hurt, but at the same token, I'm like, I know we got to move forward, but hey, go with Stidham. It is what it is. All these guys were high on Stidham. Then the same pages that were promoting Stidham and all, oh, this is our guy, and F. Brady, and this, and that. And then next thing you know, Cam Newton gets signed by New England, and all these guys put Cam Newton on there and all this other stuff, and Belichick's a genius and all this other stuff. First of all, let me tell you something. Cam Newton, and I say Cam Newton is young, he's injury prone, and to be quite honest with you, I don't think he's that good anymore. Now, when I said young, I wasn't talking in reference to age, I was talking about maturity. He's not mature to be a leader for a team. First of all, he's going to bump heads with Belichick. Second of all, that's what I was getting to. You know what I'm saying? That was exactly what I was alluding to. And as soon as he becomes a problem, he's either going to get benched or he's going to get traded, one or the other. So, and then on top of that, Bill, pretty much said, man, I ain't got a lot of money to spend on you, but I got some lint, I got a couple buttons and some bubble gum and 2 dimes if you want to play Cam. And Cam's like, okay, I'll take it. Because if you look at the deal's for 1 year and it's worth up to, which means it's an incentive based contract, $7.5 million. So it's not even a lot of money. So they were going to try to pay Brady 13 million this year. They wanted him to take a pay cut. Brady's like, hell no, I'm gone. And that goes to show you that they didn't want to spend no money. They said, hell, we're not going to spend no money. So they spending, a little bit over half than what they would have paid for Brady for this upcoming year. So it just goes to show you, and trust me, and trust what I say. I hate my fan base as much as anybody does because they're not a true fan base. Now, if you got people that are 35 and older, then maybe they know what we're talking about. Obviously, we're going into our 40s. So, but what I'm saying is that a lot of these kids, if they weren't born during this run, they were probably born right before, maybe 98, 99, 97, 95, 94. So they have no idea what suck ass Patriot football is all about. Those sorry ass fans that right now they're talking crazy when the true fans, and I can't fault them for when they were born. So I can't do that. That would be very wrong of me. But like I said, I seen them get the crap kicked out of them back in '86 when they lost in the Super Bowl against the Chicago Bears. It sucked. I was mad young at the time, and I knew my team didn't have a chance because obviously I remember Chicago, they were doing the Super Bowl shuffle, doing it. I don't mean to go on about this subject, but it's very near and dear to my heart. But I'm gonna tell you like this: I don't appreciate bandwagon guys either. I freaking hate it, and unfortunately, we see a lot of them. If they're not bandwagon guys for the Patriots, they're bandwagon guys for the Warriors, and baseball. They're bandwagon guys for the Astros. I'm like, dude, like really, like, oh, okay. So in other words, people run out of gas. That's when you go and that's when you get away from them and you gravitate toward another winner. Yeah, totally despicable. Don't like it. Patriots are gonna suck this year, and I'm still gonna be with them. It sucks, but I'm hoping they'll fire Bill Belichick and they'll go another damn direction. The only reason why I'm a true Patriot fan that's rooting for my guys to lose is so they can fire Belichick's ass, so they can get somebody else in there. Because I'm sorry, I don't give a shit if we won Super Bowl 53, Super Bowl 52 we should have won, and he threw that game. So I'm hurt by that completely. I can see he was out coached by the Giants twice because he was clearly out coached. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They weren't outplayed, but they were out coached. And Coughlin was responsible for that, and I get that. But he threw that game against Philly, and I'm sorry, I haven't gotten over that. But anyway, let's go on to the next subject now.
Well, okay, I know that was a little passionate with that question or subject, but I guess it had to be said. You've been it out, so there you have it. So now we're gonna move over to some positive side of things then. So which means, hey, since we done got the disrespect out of the way, or the people we don't respect, I'm gonna say disrespect. Now
I don't respect you, Bill Belichick.
So who or what do you respect and why?
Man, I'll tell you like this. And we harped on it in our last episode, and I'm gonna say it again, man. One of the person I most respect on this earth, man, is my wife. And the reason why I say this is because my wife, she's an educator, and I know that takes a lot of patience, and that really is doing God's work, trying to help mold, the children of tomorrow and trying to help our future. So then that way we can have a better future because, like I said, eventually these kids that she's teaching are the ones that are going to be taking care of us and taking care of our world. And there's days that are kind, and there's a lot of days that are a lot rougher than some of the kind days. And she still manages to come in, walking into the house with a smile, and still is able to carry on and do what she needs to do in reference to carrying herself, finishing her things professionally that's required for her to, that work requires. Because as soon as she gets home, it's not like she kicks back and relaxes and she's good to go. Like she's grading, she's got a lesson plan, she's got to do a whole bunch of stuff that's school related and at home. And sometimes it's not getting done till about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Then, to get up all over again at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to be in at work by 6 o'clock to do it all over again for another 12, 13 hours. And, her work ethic is second to none, man. And I truly meant what I said in the last episode about if I was at least a tenth of who she is, I would really be happy with the person that I've become because she puts in so much damn work that you know it's just one of those things that I absolutely admire. So if you want to talk about things that I respect it and people that I respect, I definitely respect my wife. And the thing that I respect most about her is the fact that she has a great work ethic. She has great professionalism. She's a great wife. She's a great mom. And, like I said, she's very well rounded. So that's something that I'm really trying to do the best I can to really own in on in reference to like perfecting my craft on, you know, whether it's getting our podcast to do well and trying to promote that stuff. Obviously I'm into my investments as well, trying to make the right choice whenever I'm doing my investments, things of that nature. And just really trying to dive in because it's like she's always learning something new and it's like there's always new information that's getting thrown at her. It's like nothing becomes mundane. She's not doing the same thing over and over. And it's like what you want to be in life. You want to be a person who's a sponge to learning. And you mentioned it before in our past episodes, like, hey, if you're not learning, if you're not growing, you're pretty much you're dying. You know what I'm saying? So I greatly appreciate her wealth of knowledge and still seeking more and her work ethic and just absolutely grateful for her. Not to mention her beauty as well, and she's able to handle it well. So I do greatly appreciate that. But on a real note, man, that's one of the things that I'm absolutely in awe when it comes to how she carries herself is that she's able to execute at a high level and she's able to do that every day. And it sucks that we don't get as in like people, right? Like we don't get televised. Like like Bill who works, you know, at the manufacturing plant, down in Brunswick, Georgia is not going to have a TV crew there that's looking at the great work that he's doing because he's an absolute, asset to his company, but we can't cheer him on like we would, cheer on, LeBron James or Tom Brady or somebody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it sucks because, you know, there's great people that are doing great work that don't get televised, that don't get paid millions of dollars, but still show up every day with a smile to execute at the highest level. And that's one of the things that I absolutely am impressed by my wife is that she's able to do that and I drop in on her and I see what she's doing and I greatly appreciate seeing greatness at work. I don't only have to watch the NBA, the MLB or the NFL to do so. What's your take, bud?
All right, good stuff. And of course, you had to land on that one. All right, I'm gonna throw a couple out there. Like for example, another one example is like like you said mentioned earlier, Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like and like the Buccaneers. Some of them, even though how supposedly the pandemic is working out here and is telling people to stay inside and stuff like that. But he's no spring chicken or anything like that. But he's out there still practicing. He still feel like he has a chip on his shoulder. He still like he got something to prove. He still feel like he can win. And that just still shows like how much passion he has for the game. You take it as if like you want every chance you get. Don't feel like, hey, well, I won one time now, or I got me a good contract now. I can just do what I want to do. I like and respect the people who are hungry as if they never won before. Um, Also, I respect, which is a lot crazy these days. A lot of people these days, and I'll check out a couple people on YouTube, right? And these some people out here who really are digging deep. And I know, like you like you're a historian, right? So there's people out there who really, really exposing a lot of the stuff that's been going on in today's world, like actually been going on a long time ago, but it's coming to the light now. You know, everything can be hidden under the shadows forever. And for me, as a person, individual, I always like to say, hey, look, don't feel like I had to just grow up and live in a life full of lies. I like man, I wanna know the truth. I wanna know how, you know, how things started, what led to where we are now, where we're going from here to the future, you know. So I'm starting to understand a lot more now about how they're trying to suppress us, trying to suppress the people, um, trying to throw these quotes in here talking about freedom and stuff like that. And we're like just about the total opposite from that. So uh so like I feel like I get, even though it don't really change the situation, but it now, once you know that, you know, where we're at as people, now we got to figure out, hey, if we want to go and get our life, we're gonna get our time back and our freedom, our happiness back, we have to stick together the same way those evil people stick together. So I just wanted to throw that to the forefront. And do you got anything else to add to the respectful people?
Oh no, man, I'm good on that, man. I think we on it.
Okay, okay. Well, with that being said, I'd just like to say another good show, episode 12. You know, thanks for banging it out. Definitely about the respect. And definitely check us out for the next one coming later on this week. Until then, you know, I'm your co-host JT, and that's my brother from another mother, Rolo C, aka Rolo runs the city, and he definitely runs the city, and I'm gonna let him take it on out from here.
Yeah, man. Hey, everybody, I greatly do appreciate the listenership, the viewership, man. We really do appreciate the support. Like I said, feel free to get social with us. Instagram, you could definitely hit me up at Rolo Runs the City, as well as on Twitter at Rolo Runs the City. And don't forget, you can hit up my man on Instagram, JT. He is at So Amazing 247. Definitely check us out on YouTube. Hit up Rolo Runs the City, and you can catch all of our episodes and whatever podcast platform that you listen to, whether it's Google, Apple, Spotify, you can definitely listen to us on that as well. And shout out to Anchor for the sponsorship. We do greatly appreciate the opportunities, and feel free to check us out anytime, anywhere. And if this is your first time listening to us, we do appreciate you guys. Feel free to check out past episodes and you can see what we're about.
All right, and remember, people, freedom isn't free until we live in free. We out.